OK and the podcast serves as a vessel to bridge the gap between human isolation and connection. We are all going through something. However, what happens when we start sharing our stories? We will be able to connect, heal, and grow. Come with me and my guests on a journey that will uncover their OK and moment. I'm your host, Just Jess. Let's get started. Hey everyone in podcast land, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you get a chance to listen to this podcast. Again, I'm your host, Just Jess. Welcome to OK and the podcast, where we are bridging the gap between human isolation and connection. And I want to thank y'all so much. I took a mental health break last week because of all the shit that's going on. And I literally needed to process my emotions, my feelings, and, on top of that, work. And I really want to take this time to express how I'm feeling and the actions that I'm taking in this level of Jumanji. I don't even know where to begin. And it just seems that we are in such unique times. The history that's being written, and I think of, if I want to have future children, like, what do I say, May 31st, 2020, where were you at, mom? Where were you at, grandma? Where were you at, hopefully great grandma? And I really needed to take a break and process the information. When we received video footage and everything in regards to George Floyd, I think I reached a breaking point. And I reached a breaking point because ultimately this shit has been going on for quite some time. And I never took it to work. And if I did, it was a small group of us that would maybe talk about it. But we knew that we had to get on the next call. We knew that we had a meeting to show up for. We knew that we had a big presentation, whatever the case may be. So we tucked those feelings away. We suppressed them, even though someone that looks like us has been shot, has been murdered, insert whatever. This one hit differently because we had so many different cases leading up to this. And being quarantined and not having the quote unquote other shiny objects that take us away from this truly hit my soul. So we had Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. And as many as trips as I've been to Minneapolis and watching that city unravel, it was this shocking feeling. At the same time, it's time to prepare for the next movement. It's time to prepare for a change, because when we think of a storm, and when storms come to a city, come to a place, they clear everything out. All right. If you live on the East Coast, when we East Coast, I would say Southeast, but when it comes to hurricanes, it clears everything out the way. And then you get this beautiful structure after a storm has passed. And I think that's where we're in, is a storm. And I cannot tell you how many people have reached out that don't look like me, that have known me for years, to ask, what can I do? How can I support? And when I tell you my white allies are ride or dies, and I can't thank y'all enough. What I really want to address is our feelings and our emotions and how we process. I took off one day from work. I really couldn't function in meetings. I had a couple of executives that were on a call, and I just told them I'm not okay. And it was the first time as a 31-year-old Black woman in corporate America where I told my superiors, I guess you can say, that I was not okay, because I come off as the strong, independent Black woman that is able to take on a lot, that doesn't really show emotion, that is always optimistic, always positive, all these different things that I have conditioned myself to believe. And so when something hits me because I'm thinking that could be my brother, my dad, my boyfriend, my cousin, my uncle, my niece, my auntie, my sister. It hits a little bit different. And I was very proud of myself that I was able to say I'm not okay. And these are the necessary steps that I need to take in order for me not to crack. And to say that felt so empowered. Like I honestly think that my ancestors were like, you need to tell them that you are not okay because somebody's about to get it. You're gonna pop off on somebody through an email, and it's not gonna be per my last email. It's gonna be like, did you not read my last email? And we don't want to do that. Like we don't want to create hostility at the workplace. So what I did during that time here in LA, so the first weekend when you look at May 31st and that weekend, and just to watch it on the news with the cops tear gassing, spraying pepper bullets, showing up in SWAT attire to a protest was alarming already. And then to have a curfew. So curfew started Sunday. All right. I got a text message, citywide text message that COVID-19, not COVID-19, because obviously we didn't have a curfew from that, but protests were happening. Curfew was at 4 p.m. I got that text message at 2:30. Then it went from 4 p.m. The next day was 5 p.m. In some areas, it was 1 p.m. Okay, 1 p.m. I think Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, the business districts, were at 1 p.m. So to know that we didn't have a curfew during COVID, and it's still going on, but to have a curfew because people are out there protesting and having the right to protest, it hit different as well. When it comes to looting, when it comes to, damaging a property, I was a baby when the riots happened in LA. I think it was like 92, 93. And those parts of the different parts of the cities are not even built still to this day. And that was 20 some odd, years ago. The way that a lot of looting happened in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, and I just spent the weekend in Santa Monica, California, and everything's still boarded up. There's beautiful murals now out there, but it's a different feeling. And I love the fact that some companies came out and said, you know what, we can rebuild, but you can't bring back a life. And the conversations that you'll hear this week, because I'll be releasing 2 episodes, it's literally starting and continuing the conversation. Being out in those protests this past weekend, a weekend before, so Hollywood and then 2 in downtown LA, not only empowered me, but it gave me inspiration that this is a global movement. It's not just, African Americans. It is everybody. I mean, when I tell you everybody came out, I saw a sign in Hollywood. I kid you not, Nolan. I saw a sign in Hollywood, and it said, "Even the witches know Black Lives Matter." Scared me at first. So I was like, pour the blood of Jesus over you, but thank you so much for your support. Like it was,
I know
but
a witch that was out there.
You do?
A friend of mine, yeah.
What?
She calls herself a witch, but she's very normal.
Okay. So everybody understands this concept, and think about it. When Black Lives Matter first came out, it was kind of like a bad word. Like nobody's like, oh, don't talk about it. Now it's everywhere. And I think where I want to see it, like keep that same energy 120 days from now. Keep that same energy when it's not trending. Keep that same energy when there's another name. And in a matter of 12 days, we have 3 more names. 3 more names. A gentleman that was hung in Lancaster, California. Another gentleman that was hung in Victorville, California. And another gentleman, I believe, that was hung in Manhattan Park. People are still being lynched in 2020. How is that even possible? I watched Dave Chappelle this past weekend. If you haven't watched it, check it out. If you laugh at some parts, okay, but it's not really a laughing matter. and understanding his brilliance when it comes to putting this all together, starting with Kobe and ending with George Floyd. If you don't feel something in your bones, in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit during these times, I honestly don't know what to tell you. Because, and again, I'm still trying to process my feelings. There's so much more work to be done. This is literally not something that you can just say like, I'm going to work on it for the next 12 days, 15 days, and then give up. Hold on really quick, because I am getting a phone call. Hi, David. I'm recording right now, but I need you to send me the video, okay? Why do you have on the okay? I'm live. I mean, I'm recording, so okay, bye-bye. Gosh. Shout out to David. David Jones actually invited me to his show, We Are Not Okay. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, and check out the episodes that we've been talking about when it comes to white privilege, when it comes to police brutality, and just really having the conversation. Being a Black woman in America, being a Black man in America, it's rough out here in these streets. It's still kind of lit though. I mean, you know, if God was like, oh, would you want to change your ethnicity? No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I think we have to not only talk about it, but we got to put some action behind it. And so when we think of different resources that are out there, and this is one of my resource groups sent this information out to us. And when you're looking at different ways to help, so maybe you didn't want to go protest, maybe you were, scared, which I will tell you this, I was scared too. Literally Thursday night, prior to me going out to protest, I'm literally texting my mother all of my information, and I called it just in case I get detained package, okay? She had my financial advisor information. She had all of my identification copies, screenshots. She had backup money, like everything that I would think, because if I don't come back, if something happens, my mom needs to come get my ass, and I know she would. But nothing else happened like that. There was so much sage burning in LA. Like, we were out there singing all kinds of songs. People didn't know second courses. Like, it was pretty gnarly. But to go back to the information, so literally contact your U.S. senators and understand that your Voting Rights Act, you gotta make sure that you come to the polls. Even if you disagree, agree, like, you gotta make sure you vote, all right? Sign a petition. Civil rights group Color of Change launched a petition asking that the officers of basically every case that we have be brought to justice. So you can go and sign petitions for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and many others that are popping up. You can join a local Black Lives Matter chapter. You can go onto their website and look at a full list. And if your city doesn't have one, hell, you can create one. Okay, so we've been seeing a lot of local chapters pop up. You can support Campaign Zero. So it's a police reform group that's been working on policy solutions informed by data and human rights principles. So you can definitely support that. You can support the National Police Accountability Project. And this group is a project of national lawyers. They help people find legal counsel. So if you want to do that, money. Okay, people need money. All right. So if you want to donate, you can donate to Black Lives Matter. You can donate to memorial funds such as George Floyd. You can donate to what's called Reclaim the Block. So it's an advocacy group in Minneapolis, and it was established in 2018 with really the goal was to divert the city's funds from the police department into non-police programs that serve the communities that are in need. You can go to North Star Health Collective. And it's a group for healthcare providers who work in alliance with organizations to create safer environments for protesters. You can donate to Unicorn Riot. independent educational and decentralized media nonprofit, works to identify the causes of social issues by sharing stories of people whose voices have been silent. You can do that. You can donate to the Bail Fund. Okay. National Fund helps pay for bail for people that are in need, including protesters. All right. Once a client's case has ended, the bail money is returned to the fund and used over and over again. So, again, you've seen so many different protests. I know right now Atlanta is, I used to live in Atlanta for almost 3 years, and my heart goes out to that city because it's chaos right now. It's definitely chaos. Now, say, for example, you wanted to support protesters. You need to know you need to know your rights when it comes to demonstrations. So how you can support protesters, you can donate or bring supplies like water, individually wrapped snacks, masks, sunblocks, hand towels, first aid kits, etc. Milk if there is tear gassing, so that way people can wash out their eyes. When you think about these things, when I was in Hollywood, all of this was available. All of it, from sunblock, water, fruit snacks, like oranges, like everybody. I mean, there was a guy that bought almost, I think, 100 boxes of pizza and was passing out pizza. Now, I got to tell you this, I wasn't taking it from everybody. It was kind of like Halloween when your mom like checks your candy. I was definitely like checking to see if there was any, because you just don't know. You just know, people crazy. You can volunteer to be someone's emergency contact. So a lot of people that were protesting would have phone numbers on them just in case, they got detained. So that way someone can reach out and contact their loved ones. Offer childcare. A lot of my friends have kids. So say, for example, you don't want to go out and protest, but they do offer some childcare. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. I mean, they've been with their kids, I don't know how long. So like they can use a break if they wanted to go out there. Offer post-protest support. So what does that look like? Hey, let me bring you some food because you've been out in the sun for 8, 9, 10 hours. Hey, what do you need? Like, do you need me to organize something in your house? Like, I don't have coronavirus. Like, be open-minded for that. Get educated. So a lot of my friends who so happen to be white have taken this time to really educate themselves outside of the things that they already know, to truly understand what is going on and how they can help support justice reform. I can't speak more volumes with that. And of course, be an ally. During this time, there's going to be some weird ass questions. There's going to be questions. And I go back to Amanda Seales where she says, I don't have time, I'm on my trampoline. But then I go back to, there's going to be moments where we have to educate ourselves. Take it from me, even minoring in Afro-ethnic studies, I still don't know all there is to know when it comes to Black history. There's so much. Like, do you know a lot of the inventions that we have today were invented by Black folks? Your street lights, your refrigerator, like common things. And I think if we knew that information and knew like how everyone's minds contribute to this world that we're living in, regardless of your skin tone, I think the world would be a better place. I honestly do. At the same time, we have these bumps in the roads. We have we have a sickness, and the sickness is racism.
It's 7 o'clock.
Damn it, computer. Every single time, bro. Every single time. I'm going to have to figure out how to turn you off because that's so irritating. The only reason, okay, I'll let y'all know. The only reason why my computer like screams at me every hour, 2 years ago, I was in Atlanta. Was it 3 years ago now? And we had, we were supposed to get the hurricanes and the power went out. So the only thing that was charged in my house was my laptop. And so I had a meeting, I think at 8 a.m. I was like, if I just put this on, I'll be able to hear it. And I just never took it off. So that's the story behind there. In other news, having conversations with my loved ones has been hard. Not from my friend's standpoint, because I think we're just all in it, but when it comes to having conversations with my family has been a little bit hard. For example, and sister, I will call you hopefully like in the next 24 to 48 hours. But I haven't been able to talk to my sister. Uh, and not that she did anything wrong or anything like that. It's I'm still trying to process because my family, we're mixed. I mean, we got everybody. We got Filipino, we got Mexican, we have white. Like everybody is in our family, and our family reunions always pop because everyone brings their food, and it's fantastic. And so, how do you have a conversation about what's going on, and how do you place or make assumptions that someone has to choose a side when their mom is white and their dad is black, or their dad is white and their mom is black? Like, how do you even comprehend that? So, really, just having those conversations. And I know a lot of people have a lot of feelings and thoughts about it. Honestly, if you haven't experienced it, shut the fuck up. Like, point blank period. Just keep your mouth shut when it comes to matters of the heart, with biracial people, because it's hard, um, and it's gonna only get harder because it's out in the open now. We're talking about it. This is the information that I wanted to give y'all. I'm still processing, but hopefully, this week, this series, I wanted to call it Black Lives Matter. Honestly, this series, let's just talk. Let's just talk. Get it out there, and then what are the action steps behind the conversation? What are the action steps behind the dialogue? What are the action steps to take us to the next level? And I, so random. If there are reparations that are on the table, please do not pay me in one lump sum. All right. This is the reason why I have a financial advisor. Like, if you're going to give $14 trillion, or is it one point? I don't know. Is it something trillion? $350,000 for 42 million Americans, whatever you do the math. Like, break it up and teach people financial responsibility when it comes to monies. I mean, and that's a whole nother conversation we can have, but I just don't want us to be that episode from Boondocks. Like, I honestly do not want us to be that. So if that does happen, make sure y'all get somebody that you trust when it comes to your finances. And if you don't have anybody, please, please, please start doing the research, so that way people can help you. So that way you can have long-term money versus short-term money, which will be fantastic. I think that's all I really want to say. Again, I'm still processing the events that are occurring. So I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep bringing y'all episodes of, people's okay and moments. I just give us all some grace when it comes to podcast land, because I think everyone's just processing and really trying to not only bring the best material, but bring you the real, bring you the raw, the vulnerability, because this is life. And it's I mean, I can't wake up and say like I'm going to be a different ethnicity. Like, I live with this on a regular basis. So be mindful, be kind to people, do your research, ask questions, and be open-minded when it comes to this process, because the difference between the 60s and now, and talking to my grandparents that are way in their 70s, they've been together for 52 years. My grandfather fought in Nam, and he said this is different because everybody is on one accord when it comes to understanding that Black lives matter. And just to let you know, matter is just the basic. It's just the basic. It's literally the basic. It's not even like we're saying, oh my God, we're loved. Like, yeah, it's the basic. Okay? But like the basic. So again, where will you be at in 120 days from now? Will you still have that same energy? Will you still be posting? Will you still be signing petitions? Like, where, and I challenge all of you that are listening, where are you going to be at 120 days from now? Just think about it. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Okay. And the podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time. See you later. Bye.